Hello and welcome to the next part of Unit 8, and we are looking at adverbial clauses of time. So let's get started. Myra and Vincent are eating in their local Chinese restaurant.
These chopsticks are so difficult to use. Can I use a knife and fork?
Of course not. We're eating noodles.
When I eat noodles at home, I use a knife and fork.
True, but this is the cultural way.
Yes, but it's slower and I'm hungry. When I eat normal food, I eat much faster than this.
Stop complaining, Vincent. Before I make reservations, I usually remind myself that you complain all the time.
Sorry, it's just that chopsticks are really complicated.
Keep trying. You'll feel good about yourself when you learn.
True, I often feel very proud of myself after I learn new skills.
Yep, and you never shut up about it.
Hey, do you want me to learn or not?
So in the video, the couple were talking about their usual eating habits. So let's talk about ours. So what do you do before you eat dinner? Well, maybe you might say, I set the table, or I wash my hands. What do you do when you eat dinner? Well, I put my fork in my left hand. And what do you do after you eat dinner? Well, I wash the dishes. So these are all main clauses. All of the responses to those questions we can use as our main clause. And if you remember from our previous video, clause always has a subject and a verb. I wash, I set, I put, I wash. So in this video we're going to learn how to construct adverbial clauses of time. And to create an adverbial clause we need adverbs. And the adverbs we're going to use in this video are before, after, and when. And after the adverbs we need a subject and a verb. Remember, all clauses have a subject and a verb. So a full adverbial clause of time could be before I eat dinner, after I eat dinner, when I eat dinner. This is an adverbial clause. So we could say, before I eat dinner, I set the table. Okay, so we have our adverb, before, subject and verb. Then in the main clause, a subject and a verb. What you may have noticed is the two clauses are separated by a comma. And we can do this when the adverbial clause is first, okay? You can use a comma to separate the clauses when the adverbial clause is first. It's like taking a small pause. Before I eat dinner, I set the table. The main clause can go first as well, though. We could say, I wash the dishes after I eat dinner. Okay? Main clause first, adverbial clause second. There's one change though. If you want to have the main clause first, don't use a comma. Okay? Don't use a comma when the adverbial clause is used after the main clause. I wash the dishes after I eat dinner. There is no comma, no pause. So another example, when I eat dinner, the adverbial clause, I put my fork in my left hand, the main clause. The adverbial clause is first, so we use a comma. And if the main clause is first, well, I put my fork in my left hand when I eat dinner. There's no pause, okay? There's no comma. So now let's look at this example and decide which of these three sentences is correct. So let's look at the first one. After I get dressed, I put on deodorant. So the adverbial clause has an adverb, a subject, and a verb. That's fine. And the main clause has a subject and a verb, so there's no problem. Also, we have a comma, which is fine because the adverbial is first. So what's the problem? Well, the problem is we have used the incorrect adverb. It should say, before I get dressed, I put on deodorant. And now the next example. I put on deodorant before I get dressed. I put on deodorant before I get dressed. Okay, so the problem here is, did you hear that little pause in between the two clauses? Well, that shouldn't happen, because when we have the main clause first, we shouldn't have this comma. So that's why the second example is wrong. And now the third example, I put on deodorant before I get dressed. So we have the subject and we have the verb in the main clause. And in the adverbial, we have the adverb, the subject, and the verb. And the main clause is first and there's no comma, so this is correct. I put on deodorant before I get dressed. And now the final example. I ate with my hands when I eat burgers. So the main clause has a subject and it has a verb. And the adverbial has an adverb, a subject, and a verb. So what's the problem? Well, when we use when, we're talking about habits. So both verbs need to be in the same tense. The tense needs to be consistent. So we can't say I ate with my hands when I eat burgers. We need this to be in the present as well. It should be I eat. Now let's look at the second example. When I eat burgers, I eat with my hands. Listen again. When I eat burgers, I eat with my hands. Can you hear the problem? Well, there should be a pause here. We haven't added the comma, okay? The adverbial clause is first, so here we need a comma. So this one's incorrect. And finally, when I eat burgers, I eat with my hands. So we have the adverb, the subject and the verb in the adverbial. Then the main clause, we have the subject and the verb. And we have a comma in between, which is perfect, because we need that little pause, and the adverbial is first. So this is the correct answer. When I eat burgers, I eat with my hands. Okay, so that's everything for this video. So if you would like to try the activities below. Thank you and goodbye.